So I actually want to read the scripture from Exodus about the creating your Sabbath day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, I'm reading from the Amplified Classic. And it says, this is Exodus 28. It says, earnestly remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy, withdrawn from common employment, and dedicated to God. It says, 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. In it you shall not do any work, you, your son, your daughter, your manservant, your maidservant, your domestic animals, sojourner within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens, and the earth, and the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the 7th day. And that's why the Lord blessed the Sabbath day, and he hallowed it. He set it apart for his purpose. So, earnestly remember that Sabbath day. And he blessed the Sabbath day. And I think in all of it, the go to church, the making time for the church, the commitment that we have to the church, the not forsaking the gathering, that we do meet together and assemble, all of it, and the 10 Commandments, all of the rules, all those things that the Lord gave, were to help us have a change of heart, that we not put anything before him.
Absolutely.
That bottom line, when we get up on Sunday mornings and we make it right and we present him with our best,
mm-hmm.
that it is truly an example of, I have nothing else before you, Lord. That there is nothing more important than you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole of everything. Jesus came as the Messiah so that we could be reconciled to the Father. Our being reconciled is an acknowledgement that we need him and that he is our source, that we choose him first, that we go to him first, that we trust him. And so, of course, the first commandment is, you have no other gods before me, and then you have no other idols. Everything in this law of Exodus was to help the children of Israel
mm-hmm.
put God first in his place and in his position. And I think that in Dad's you go to church, that was what we saw.
Yeah.
That work, as important as work was, as important as the business was not more important than setting aside time to be with the Father. That nothing else was more important. And we did have church. So he had prayer partners, then Sunday school, then church. Then we had church on Sunday nights. Board meetings were on Monday nights. And then we had service on Wednesday nights. And those times, he gave to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
He honored his commitment because God was first place.
One of the, I guess, modern arguments against the way that our family did things would be that it sounds like a tradition. It sounds like the traditions of man.
Right.
He did this because it's just what you do. Well, it wasn't, because, where your time is, that's where your heart is. And so for Dad, that was his time that was committed to the Lord. It wasn't just because this is my schedule and this is what I do. That the commitment ran deeper than that. It was his commitment to the Lord and the Lord's work in the local community.
That's
that was
right.
It wasn't, this is my Sunday suit because I wear I wear a suit on Sunday. I think for Dad it was I want to be careful because it does sound these are my traditions. It wasn't. It was where his heart was. It was where his commitment was.
Well, it was also his way of setting an example for his children, because he loved serving in his church.
Oh, yeah.
And so he set the example for us to love serving in our church.
I believe that he felt honored to do it. And there's obviously working with people, working with or serving with other people, there's trying times.
Well, it was not always
easy,
rosy,
but I believe that he felt honored to serve as a Sunday school teacher, a board member, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was an honor for him to do that. Dad wasn't raised in church.
No.
It wasn't until later in his life that a girl invited his brother, and all of them came to church. So it wasn't until much later in his life that he developed that. So for him to be an adult and have his own family and his children in church, and for us to see him in those positions, I believe that he felt honored.
Well, and as the daughter watching that, I knew the importance of going to church, and it was never a burden. Like they didn't have to pull our hair to go to church.
No. And I never saw it as a prideful thing either. I never saw Dad with pride on him.
And he taught us to love it. And so that's the lesson of go to church. Again, it wasn't checking the boxes. It wasn't religion. It wasn't a pride. It was something that he loved, and he shared that love. He taught us.
It's not just about finding a church. You have to find a church that you can serve in. It's not just, and when Dad, attended a church and wasn't serving in a church, it didn't work.
It didn't
work.
Well, and that's just the same way with you, that you are created with giftings and abilities. You are part of the body.
Right.
And so whatever body the Lord has for us is incomplete if we're not using our gifts, if we are not involved, if we're not
better the whole church.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So he taught us to love going to church, and he taught us the value and the importance of going to church. So it's Friday. You have 2 days to decide where
you're going to
go
church.
So we'll see y'all next week. Bye.